Hello. Let's see here.
I would like everyone to please mute their microphones. We will begin very shortly. For the time being, please keep your mics muted so that we may begin. I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening for the world's largest seance. We are streaming to multiple platforms right now. Remember to please keep your mics muted. We're on YouTube, a private Facebook group, and another streaming platform. Thank you everyone for coming this evening. Please, if you don't mind, have your video on, but your microphones muted. You should have your materials ready. If you signed up for the website, you should have a list of materials, a pendulum board, a pendulum, a stone. That'll work. They do not have to be on camera. That's nice if they are, but it's not a prerequisite for this to function. Just waiting for a few more people to get in and we shall begin.
Hello, Vince. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Zeke Powers from the mountains of North.
Sorry, Zeke, I had to mute you. You missed the message. Everyone, please enter with your microphones muted. I apologize, Zeke, but we will have you in momentarily. Thank you for joining us tonight. I like your setup, by the way. Before we begin, I would like to show you a message from the director of the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum, Miss Enrica Jean.
Good evening and welcome to the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum. While no member of the house staff can confirm if the house is haunted, we can share with you the history of Poe House. 203 North Amity Street was constructed around 1830, and Edgar Allan Poe lived here with his aunt and two cousins, as well as his grandmother from 1833 to 1835. We do believe his grandmother did pass away while she lived here. This is the house where Poe made his chosen family, and this is the house where Edgar Allan Poe began his professional career. We look forward to seeing you one day soon at the Edgar Allan Poe House. Tours are available every Thursday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also offer virtual tours for those who can't yet make it to Baltimore. Have a wonderful evening and good luck.
Thank you, Rico, for that wonderful message. Although they cannot confirm officially that they've experienced paranormal phenomenon, I did do an investigation there for the Discovery Channel back in 2007. So, yes, things did happen that evening. Strange occurrences, objects caught on camera, strange balls of light. I may have to repeat that message. Some people are tuning in a little late. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. For those who just joined us, please remember to keep your microphones muted for now. For those just joining us, please keep your microphones muted for the time being. However, if you do have video capabilities, please have your camera on. That would be greatly appreciated. Although, remember that we are streaming live to YouTube and we do not want to get demonetized. I'm just kidding. There's no money in YouTube. Everyone coming in clear? All right. I may have to repeat the message from Rika for those who missed it, just so I don't have to play it again. Rika Zhang, the director of the Poe House, did join us for a moment with a message for our guest this evening. Although there have been no official reports of spiritual phenomenon by the employees of the Poe House, there have certainly been reports from other people, guests, and that sort of thing. Myself included. I did an investigation in 2007 at the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum. A video you can catch online for the Discovery Channel on YouTube when you have an opportunity. Not right now, of course. And don't worry, I won't be cast in shadow like this the entire evening. But before we begin, a few notes. Once again, for those just coming in a little late, please keep your microphone muted. Please keep your microphone muted before we begin. All right, fantastic. All right, so I've asked a couple of friends to come in who also have a certain degree of expertise, shall we say, in spiritual communication, the art of the seance. I asked Mr. Zeke Powers and Mr. Paul Prater to join us this evening. First, I'd like to spotlight my friend Paul here, who's going to begin. And hi, Sarah. I think that's Sarah in the background. Hello. I want to ask you to unmute your microphone now, Paul.
It is unmuted.
All right, Paul, what do you have for us this evening? And thank you again for joining us and contributing to this historic event where we're streaming live from the Poe House. For those who did not pay attention to that earlier, if you look, there is a video on your screen from a live feed of the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum in Baltimore. So we are in direct contact with the museum with a camera that is live streaming from there. So please continue, Paul. Thank you very much. And tell everyone a little bit about yourself before we begin.
Sure. My name is Paul Prater, and aside from being an author and somebody who's very interested in the world of the paranormal and seance, I'm also an attorney. And so that really doesn't have anything to do with the paranormal, except sometimes I feel like I'm dealing with the dead when we're in court. But I run ghost tours in Central Arkansas. I run seances in Central Arkansas as well. And I've done some up in Baltimore, thanks to Vince as well. So we've worked together quite a bit. Something I have a real passion for and a real interest in. And so what I wanted to do at the beginning is just get us all working as one, as a group, to help harness our energies. And so that's what we're going to work with. Now, if you're watching this, you undoubtedly have some interest, if not a belief, in the idea that you can contact those that have passed over. Those who have gone beyond the veil are not out of reach. You just have to figure out how to communicate with them in a manner to where they can communicate back. So to be able to do that, we really need to harness our energies as one. And if death is no barrier to communication, then certainly the internet is no barrier to us all working together to harness our energies together. So I brought a tool with me here tonight that we can all use, that's used for the purpose of really focusing energies and really harnessing those energies. Now, what this is, it's nothing more than a piece of bamboo. It's got a hole in it, and then at the top there are beads, and then there are different little items on a thread. So very simple contraption. But what this does can be used for meditation purposes, to where you can really look at it and focus on it. So if we have any one person out there, Vince, so you can unmute, it doesn't matter who it is, just anyone. I just need one person to help me out. So if you have the ability to unmute someone, that would be terrific. Do you have anyone out there, Vince, I can work with? Am I coming through, Vince? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, I was needing, is there someone out there? Can you unmute someone? I need to work with someone who's watching right now. It doesn't matter who it is, just some person.
All right. Who would like to volunteer for this aspect of this evening? I need a volunteer, please. Raise your hand. I can see you. All right. Stephanie volunteers. Stephanie, please unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Stephanie. I appreciate you offering to volunteer. Can you tell everyone where you're from, please?
I am in Mobile, Alabama right now.
All right, in Mobile. And Stephanie, do you have a belief in the afterlife at all?
What's the optimistic skepticism?
All right, I'll take that. And do you believe that there's at least a possibility that if there is an afterlife, that maybe you could make communication with those who have passed?
Sure, if there was an afterlife, yeah.
Okay, very good. Then we'll see what we can do. Now, this tool, I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but here on this end, we have a coin. In the middle, we have a cinnabar bead. And on the end, we have a bone, a finger bone. Each of these represent a different thing. The coin represents riches and wealth. The bead represents happiness and luck. And the finger bone represents the finger bone of the Buddha, which is enlightenment. Which one of those appeals to you the most?
Oh, the finger bone.
Probably the finger bone. What I want you to do is try to focus on that finger bone, and I want you to imagine it moving. Just focus on it and imagine if you could send your energy over the internet and make that thing move. Now, Stephanie, we're not getting a lot yet.
No.
And part of that is purposeful, because I think that what we have to do is harness the energy of everybody present to really get something to happen. So I want to do that. As you're listening out there in your own home, I want you to imagine that you can send a thread right out through your head into the camera. And in that world, the internet world, somehow we're all connected. I want everyone to really focus on that. I really imagine that you can push this thread up from your stomach out through your head and right through that camera so that each of us are interconnected. I want everyone to breathe in deeply, please. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Continue to do that, everyone out there, as you're listening to my voice. With each exhalation, I want you to imagine that you're pushing that thread further out. And imagine that if it could really go through that camera, through the internet, that all of those threads are intertwining. And therefore, we're all able to breathe in and out together. Since we're breathing in and exhaling at the same time, we're gathering that energy, we're focusing that energy. And imagine you can push that energy right through your camera out to all of us. Now, I want to try this again. I want everyone to focus this time, not just Stephanie. And you said the finger bone. Let me get all of these a little more still. Now, I want you to focus on that finger bone, and not just you, Stephanie, but everyone. I want you to focus on it and really imagine making it move. Imagine if you could make the finger bone move. Now, obviously, the others have a little bit of motion. They're just things hanging from a stick, but you notice the finger bone is moving substantially more. So I think everyone's doing a really good job. I want you to imagine, everyone out there, that you can push it in a circle. Imagine if you could make that finger bone move in a circle, not just back and forth. And I don't know how well that's coming across on camera, but it's definitely moving in a circle. Now, everyone out there, focus on it and tell it to stop in your mind. Now I think that energy is happening. I think we're getting focused. Stephanie, what would appeal to you the next after that? The coin or the bead? Good luck or riches?
The bead.
All right, I want everyone to focus on that bead, on that red bead. Imagine really pushing that power through the camera like we were talking about. Imagine that you can really make that happen, that we can focus that energy and push it through a camera. You can see again, while the others have a little bit of motion and movement, there's not a lot, and that bead is really moving. Now it's kind of going front and back. I want it to go side to side. Focus on it, everyone, side to side, left and right. And you can see it's really started moving left and right, quite a bit of motion. I think everyone's energies are really good. Everyone in your minds, I want you to push this through the internet, tell it to stop.
Wow.
Imagine if all of them can stop and be as still as possible. Now, finally, the coin. Everyone focus your attention on the coin. Just imagine pushing that with that energy that we're all sharing across the internet. It's really moving. Let's really focus. Imagine if you could really get it swinging the most that you possibly could, like really just the most motion we've had. You can see the coin swinging so far over, it's about to hit the bead. Now imagine in your minds, again, you can tell it to stop. Imagine telling it to slow, slow, slow. And to stop. Again, nothing more than a piece of bamboo and 3 items strung through it on thread. This was nothing more than a tool to help us focus and concentrate our energies. Now that we've done that with a tool to help establish that this is possible, I think we've started to bring all of that energy together that we need to proceed on further with our evening. Thank you, Stephanie, for helping out. I appreciate it. And Vince, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, thanks, Paul. So this is something you could, before you go, this is something you could make at home, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I just made this myself, and I seriously went to the bead store. I cut a piece of bamboo out of my backyard, drilled 3 holes through it, and went to the bead store, like a Hobby Lobby, and bought the beads and built the thing myself. And it is based on a training tool for monks for focus and concentration. But yes, anyone could build this at home. It's very simple. And really, you could just use 3 different weights if you didn't want to use certain items. It just helps people to focus when there's some meaning behind the thing they're focusing on.
Fantastic. All right, Zeke, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself now, please.
All right, can you hear me?
I can. Mr. Powell,
All right.
welcome to the Edgar Allan Poe Seance this evening. It's a pleasure to have you here. I love your setup, by the way. That is fantastic.
Well, thank you very much, but I can't take any credit for that. This is not for me. This is all for Poe, and that's our purpose here tonight. First of all, I'd just give great props for Mr. Prater for what he just happened to share an experience, and I think everybody out there experienced that as well. And I really feel like right now in history, and this is truly such a historic moment, there has been seances that have occurred at the same time in different cities, but most often contacting someone different. Sometimes there has been celebrity seances, perhaps held on certain dates and certain locations, not necessarily the same time. But right now, we are literally around the world together as one, focusing our energy in an attempt to ask Edgar Allan Poe to cross through the veil and give us a sign. Now, so far, we can see the energy that Paul was able to manifest right before your eyes as we all focused. And with that intense focus, we're going to use that energy and kind of springboard and get ready. Now, the question I get asked a lot is, oh, what happens? Is Edgar Allan Poe going to walk in and sit down and have a cup of tea with me? Is the cabinet doors going to fly open? Well, maybe, the expectation is that something will happen. Sometimes it could be something very small, like perhaps the ringing of a bell for no reason, or maybe your remote control battery's dying tonight when you go to watch TV later. The energy can be manifest in different ways, and one of those is through sight and sound. But I want to start by the other one, and this is my toast to Poe. And Edgar, we ask tonight that you come through the veil and you give us a sign of your presence tonight. Spirits has a double name. We know it as alcohol or spirits, but also there is a connection, including libations, where the alcohol is used in different rituals. Tonight, I use it as an enticement to ask Poe to come through the veil and join us. We ask him to return home. We can watch that live feed. We'll be looking for a shadow or a door slam. But the most common is tonight, one of you who is participating from around the world will actually have Poe come and speak to you in your dreams tonight. I encourage you all to share your experiences with Poe's magic with Vince, myself, and Paul. You can find me at paranormalmagician.com. You can find all of us wherever you look for bizarre seance and magicians. We're all kind of there. But tonight, the magic is going to be up to you. And if you do have that experience tonight, share it with us. I'd love to hear about it. And I think that we've already had a shared experience. Now, what I'd like to do is open up this circle. And I'm going to do it tonight with salt. The salt is to help keep the bad spirits and the bad energy away and make sure that we focus on the positive. Now, Edgar, we long for information and mystery about you. And I want to start off with one of my favorite poems and stories from Edgar Allan Poe. And we know that most of his stories were a little macabre or bizarre for the time. And I think like a fine wine, they get better with age. Poe said, "The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where one ends and the other one begins?" So tonight, I'd ask you all to participate with me, and some of you have a list of items, and hopefully you have those items around your area of focus. But I ask that everybody just focus on the words that come out of your mouth as you speak them, and they manifest and become. Tonight, those words will be a name. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. Please say it with me. Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. We say your name 3 times and ask you to cross the veil and join us tonight. Give us a sign of your presence. Come forth and taste and scent of the spirits and answer our questions. Ring this bell. Blow out this candle. Whisper into my ear. Give us a sign of your presence with us here tonight. And I ask that the energy across the world calls out to you. Do not disappoint us, Edgar. Now that the circle is open, one thing that has been used for many years in seances is a technique known as scrying. Most commonly, Hollywood has you believe it's done with a crystal ball. Prophets such as Nostradamus used to look into water. Most will just stare into a flame. Well, tonight, to help you with that, I'm going to give you a visual tool. And I just want you to stare directly into this and don't look away. Allow your eyes to relax. And I want you to open your mind, open your space, and open your spirit to be extremely receptive to a change in temperature. Be very receptive to sounds. And visually, relax your eyes. And now I would like you to close your eyes. Everyone watching for a moment, just close your eyes. And now I would like you to open them. And I want you to just stare at this scroll that I have. I have a parchment paper. Now this parchment paper is connected to Poe. And I'll just show you that. There's three things that I want to test for a psychic connection. The first of those three tests is, what do you think is the connection of this paper to Poe? Obviously, it's a story or a poem, something written for sure. Poe authored countless numbers of credited and, well, some unaccredited stories, poems, quotes, and adventures. Which one do you think that is? Now, don't tell me. Keep that for yourself, because that's only the first of three. The second will be coming up in a moment. Now, the next thing I want to do is share with you my 16 favorite Edgar Allan Poe stories, poems, some made in the movies. Now, I'm going to show these to you, and in a moment, I'm going to show these to you, and here in a moment, I'm going to go through all 16 of these, and as I go through them, okay, so right now, my video should have changed to an image. Vince, is that correct?
No, it has not.
Okay, so we're still showing live feed right now. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, that should do it right there. So I'm going to leave that on there. I want you to take a look at those 16 pictures. And perhaps one of them seems more interesting, specifically interested. Perhaps it's the color. Perhaps it's black and white. Now, they're gone. But your second choice is initially which one you found interesting. Now, you may not know which one that is. So let me share them. First, it's right here. This is Annabelle Lee, a hauntingly beautiful story. This is The Premature Burial, which was a common theme in a lot of Poe's works. The Mask of the Red Death. We've seen a lot of that lately, unfortunately. I think I like this one because it has the longest title of any of his famous works that I have read, and that is The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, a story of a guy who hit the high seas. Of course, probably the most commonly known, this blue one here, Pit and Pendulum. The first story that I ever heard of, The Telltale Heart. This was a very bizarre story about a man who became a jester, Hop Frog. That's definitely influenced by Poe's very creative side. my all-time favorite one, which reminds me of the swirling disc that you saw earlier, The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar, a fascinating story where a man is hypnotized at the moment of death. A hauntingly creepy and disturbing morella. Check it out. Of course, The Raven, The Cask of Almentado, Murders in the Rue Morgue, the Black Cat. We just had Black Cat Day. That was a holiday we just celebrated recently, or I didn't. I had a brown cat at one time, but not black. Fall in the House of Usher, another one that Hollywood has made over and over. The Gold Bug, and Bells. Now, of all of those stories and all of those pictures, there's one that may, when you first saw it, really caught your attention. One that really spoke to you, and that would be your second test tonight. Now, the third test is an example of a tradition that many psychics and mediums would do, and they give you the impression that you have a free choice, and they let you make many, many choices. In reality, your choices, much like fate, seem to be very similar. So on the screen right now should be those 16 images. Does everybody see those, Vince? Vince, do you see those clearly?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'd like everyone watching to take a look at those 16 images and just look at the one that spoke to you earlier. When you had just a glance at them, maybe it was the color or just something that caught your eye about it. That is the one that spoke to you initially, and that was part of the second test. And now we're going to proceed into the third test, and we're going to move around on these 16 spaces. You can move in any direction. You can just don't go outside of the 16. So wherever you're at, just move in any direction to a black and white image. Any of the ones that are just close to the one that you're on, just go to a black and white image. Now, once you're on that image that you've randomly located, I'd now like you to move either to your left or to the right of that image to a color photograph. Whichever one of those cabinet cards in color, to the left or to the right of that black and white one, go ahead and move to that now. And now that we've went left or right, let's go up or down this time. And this time, let's switch it up. We're going to go up or down to the nearest black and white image. So right now, you have left the color, and you have now went up or down to a black and white image. So we went left or right, we went up or down. So now we'll go diagonally. So diagonally, move to a color image. That could be diagonally to the left or to the right, just closest, just whichever one. You're going to move now diagonally to that color. So we've went left or right, we've went up and down, we went diagonally. So finally, let's just do one more. Go either to the right or down to the nearest black and white image. You have now landed on one final black and white image. Your third test is what that image is. And you can write that down. So we had the parchment earlier, a work of Poe. We had an image on the screen that caught your interest, just caught your eye. And now finally, after a series of random moves, you have landed somewhere else. Will you have a dream tonight of Poe? Will Poe come to your home and speak to you? Will Poe return to his home tonight and lay in his bed one final time? Will he speak to us and give us a sign? We certainly hope so, and we hope that's the case. I'll be watching. I hope you will be too. Thank you, Vince, for having me, and be safe, everyone.
Thank you so much, Zeke. That was amazing. I really appreciate it. I have the images up here. Apparently, we just discovered that does not work on YouTube. I've been monitoring the YouTube channel, but everyone in the Zoom meeting was able to participate, and that is fantastic. Zeke Powers, thank you so much. Now, Paul Prater, Zeke Powers, thank you again. I hope you will stay for the remainder of the seance this evening. Um, I greatly greatly appreciate your participation. But now it is time to get on with it, shall we say? Move on with the seance for this evening. Before we begin, I recorded a video earlier I'd like to share with you. Once again, I would like everyone to please turn on their video now, if you don't mind. Please turn on your video. If you have your video turned off, I would greatly appreciate you having it on right now. Hi. The concept and belief in spirit communication has been a part of humanity since time immemorial. Have you ever asked a deceased loved one for guidance, or even said to yourself, I miss you after their passing? Then you have taken part in this most ancient of traditions. It is often misrepresented in popular culture as something taboo and relegated to the occult. Movies, TV, and books rarely show the seance as anything other than an easy way to demonical unrest. Yet seances, or spirit sessions, indeed, seance is the French word for session, a more a form of secular group prayer than a quick pass to the infernal regions. The modern, non-fictionalized seance has its true beginnings in the 19th century with the advent of spiritualism. This is when the rituals and ceremonies often brought to mind took form. Holding hands around a large circular table in a dimly lit, if not completely darkened room, spiritualism was and is a movement based on the idea of communication with the dead. However, unlike traditional prayer, there was a heightened expectation of nearly instant gratification in the form of reciprocation. In other words, spiritualists expected to talk to ghosts and the ghosts would talk back. Now tonight, if you are in the virtual seance room with me via Zoom, you should have or could have a large blackish black stone, preferably a smooth black river rock. But this is not necessary. It literally can be a rock painted black. It should be at least 2.5 inches in size, but not bigger than 4 inches. A pendulum board, a parchment with a pendulum board drawn onto it, or just some concentric circles will be just as well. If you don't have a printer, you can draw it with a Sharpie. It's fine. A very, very simple pendulum. A string and a paper clip? Sure. A thread with a rusty bolt? Yep. A precious ring on a chain? Yes, Smeagol, that works too. Now, it would also be preferable if you had some tea lights. Tea lights are safe. They're flat bottom. They can't be knocked over very easily. Electric tea lights work just fine. They are safer and widely available. Some LED tea lights can be brought or bought at the Dollar Tree for, well, $1. So you might have one of those nearby. And of course, now at this point, it's too late to go out and buy some. So we'll move on. First, before the spirit session even begins, silence your environment if you plan on being in the virtual seance room. Although you will be muted upon entry, you may be called on to discuss any experiences you are having. So please mute any mobile devices, secure your pets, and ask your family to stay quiet in preparation for the evening. Also, lower your lights as dark as you are comfortable. Just turn them off, really. And it's time to begin. For the very first World Seance project, we will be in contact with Edgar Allan Poe, the famous American author and poet. Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, poet, and critic, an editor best known for evocative short stories and poems that capture the imagination and interest of readers around the world. His imaginative storytelling and tales of mystery and horror gave birth to the modern detective story.
Many of Poe's works, including The Telltale Heart and The Fall of the House of Usher, became literary classics. Some aspects of Poe's life, like his literature, is shrouded in mystery, and lines between fact and fiction have been blurred substantially since his death. Poe died on October 7, 1849. His final days remain somewhat of a mystery. Poe left Richmond on September 27, 1849, and was supposedly on his way to Philadelphia. On October 3rd, he was found in Baltimore in great distress. Poe was taken to Washington College Hospital, where he died 4 days later. His last words, supposedly, according to some, were, "Lord, help my poor soul." At the time of his death, it was said that Poe died of congestion of the brain, but his actual cause of death has been the subject of endless speculation. Rabies, epilepsy, murder, voter fraud called cooping and involving drugs and or alcohol, and carbon monoxide poisoning are just some of the conditions thought to have led to the great writer's death. Now, the reason for the stone. Using a combination of cultural traditions from around the world, we must first take any negative energy from the participants and the environment, then take that negative energy and deposit it into the stone. One such ancient tradition is the concept of the scapegoat. The scapegoat was a goat that was designated for absolute removal, for symbolic removal of the people's sins with the literal removal of the goat, and outcast into the desert as part of the ceremonies of the Day of Atonement that began during the Exodus with the original tabernacle and continued through the times of the temples in Jerusalem. This is something written up by my friend Rabbi Aaron Sherman. In the 16th century English translation of the Bible, William Tinsdale used the word scapegoat, later shortened to scapegoat, to describe the goat bearing the sins of the nation, interpreting the Hebrew word Azazel as Ez-Ozel, or the goat that departs or escapes. However, the great sages of the Jewish faith interpreted Azazel to mean a steep, rocky place to which the goat was sent to plunge to its death, dispersing the sins among the stones during its call. Like the ancient Hebrews, we use stones to deposit and remove any negative energy from the participants and the environment in preparation for our seance. The ancient Greeks practiced scapegoating rituals in exceptional times based on the belief that the reputation of one or two individuals would save the whole community. Scapegoating was practiced with different rituals across ancient Greece for different reasons, but was mainly used during extraordinary circumstances such as famine, drought, or plague. Like when the sunlight is absorbed into the dark shirt or blouse, the negative energy will be taken and channeled in the target object, in this case, the dark stone. Before we begin, place the pendulum board in front of you. Any table or surface will do. If you're using real candles, please be safe and responsible. Place 2 tea lights at the top 2 corners of the pendulum board. Light them, or in the case of the LED lights, turn them on. For the seance to work properly, our guest, the spirit we are contacting, in this case Edgar Allan Poe, must be comfortable and accepting of our spirit circle, virtual or otherwise. While the symbolic ritual takes place, it is important for you to think of everything that is bothering you, personal work, world events. These thoughts can be abstract. Do not spend too much on one thing. You do not want these thoughts to be distracting during this session. The host, myself, will guide you through with instructions on focusing these negative thoughts and energy from you and into the stone. You will hold the stone in your hands and feel the flow of energy pass from you and flow into your arms, hands, fingers, and the stone. After the ritual is complete, the stone will be placed in the center of the pendulum board. You might be tempted to use your own pendulum board. This is fine, but remember, the board and the rock must be contrasting colors. One must be white, the other must be black. This is not religious or dark magic. This is simply a way to cleanse our minds and spirit before the seance. Once we are cleansed, the rock must be also cleansed. Next, I will help you breathe with us together and push the negative energy out of the stone as well, like a breeze moving clean, fresh air in through an open window. We'll be moving and dissipating the bad air from the stone. It will be cleansed by positive thoughts and positive energy, regardless if you think it is possible or new age mumbo jumbo. If you follow along, I assure you that you will feel better at the end. During this part of the experiment, you will think positive thoughts, happy memories, and pleasant experiences, good times and great times, love and life, the best of times. Breathe and out, in with the good air, out with the bad. When done correctly by the participant, you, you will experience sensations of relief. Also, the air and the location will become energized. The stone itself will react. And now on with the seance.
All right. Thank you, Vince, for hosting that. All right, a little out of focus here. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit. Is that better? No, it's worse. Okay. I apologize for that, everyone. That's a lot better. There we go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming in this evening. So I just want to put emphasis on the fact that although we're trying to have fun this evening, and we are definitely not, immune to some levity this evening, I want to put emphasis on the fact that we are doing a real seance. So positive thoughts are a must. From this point on, this is real. Any experiences you have are real, your own experiences. From this moment on, anything you experience is actual and personal. When we bring you into this circle, you will be a part of the circle, regardless of whether or not it's virtual. You see, when it comes to the seance, when it comes to the spirit, time and space matters not. It doesn't matter if you're 1,000 miles away or the other side of the galaxy or beyond the veil. Distance is not a factor. Time is not a factor. Now, before we begin, I want to talk about a little additional information in regards to Edgar Allan Poe. And once again, please turn your cameras on so I can look for reactions and for participation from our guests here this evening. There's a lot of myths associated with Mr. Poe, the famous author, the creator of the modern horror story, the modern detective story. One of those is that he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. This is a myth, believe it or not. But who here did not know that? How many people here, show me with a raise of your hand, how many people were positive before they came in here this evening that Edgar Allan Poe was an alcoholic, a drug addict, perhaps even a womanizing cad? What do you think? Anyone? Or it was everyone who knew this already, that he was not these things? Fantastic. That's good. That means we have some very well-educated participants this evening. And I appreciate your research and investigation personally into the true story of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe, the great American author, poet, and creator of the modern detective story and horror story. Yes, Poe himself was actually a member of the temperance movement the last 2 years of his life. Most of the horrible stories we believe or had believed about him through our childhood and into our adulthood were perpetrated by his literary enemy. Does anyone know the name? Rufus Griswold. That's right. I don't want to go into too many details because I know we want to get started with our seance this evening, but Griswold hated Edgar Allan Poe and perpetrated these rumors for years afterward, even conning his aunt who survived Poe's death into writing over the rights to his works to Griswold so that he might put a biography in front of each and every volume that slandered Poe post-mortem. That's right. That, my friends, is what a bad guy is. A real jerk in history. Griswold just kept on going with these slanderous rumors years after his death, and it even made its way into American classrooms for decades afterward. So there is going to be a time period through this evening in which you will be able to ask questions to Poe, or perhaps his beloved wife, Virginia Clem Poe, or his aunt even. If you would like to participate and ask questions, please be mindful of these myths. Do not ask questions pertaining to his alcoholism or drug addiction or something along those lines. That would certainly offend him because he certainly would not have thought himself as such. Does that make sense, everyone? Thank you very much. All right. Let's see. Now, I would like everyone who has their materials in front of them to hold them up to the camera, please. All right. If you have your materials in front of you in preparation, you should have a stone. Does everyone have their stone? Please hold it up if you do. Fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. Your pendulum board or parchment. Okay, fantastic. All right. And finally, thank you very much. And finally, your candles. Tea lights are preferable, but any candles will do. That's great. I love the glasses, by the way. That looks wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. All right. Now, as we stated earlier in the video, a lot of classic spiritualism in the 19th century in America and the UK, this was started with a Dutch a scientist and researcher. And then there was a Swedish gentleman by the name of Emanuel Swedenborg who really kicked off the spiritualist movement in the 19th century. And the contrary to popular belief, in which a lot of people think that spiritualism is some sort of a cultist thing, it is not. In fact, it has its origins in 19th century Christianity, to be honest with you. But I think it's safe to consider a secular idea or belief, to be honest with you. In fact, you can remove religion from it completely if you wish, but if it gives you comfort, then please feel welcome to incorporate your own beliefs and faith into this evening. Now, to begin, first, if you have your candles lit already, that's fine. I have one already put aside. But the tea lights that you have in front of your parchment, please put them at the two corners of your parchment. Some people may have 4 candles, and that's fine too. For those who are versed in the seance, there is some literature that involve putting 4 candles at each of the 4 corners of the pendulum board. This is not necessary. Also, please hold up your pendulum. Show me your pendulum. Wonderful. Oh, I like some of those pendulums. They're very nice. Thank you. This pendulum I have here is very simple. It is simply a steel bob on a chain. I have had this for over 20 years, believe it or not. A few times I have thought I've lost it, and it keeps reappearing in my life. In fact, I had planned on using a different pendulum this evening, and I rediscovered this recently in a drawer. I completely forgot about it to some degree. So I'm definitely going to be using this evening. In fact, this is the pendulum I used when I did my first investigation of the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum for the Discovery Channel in 2007. So it's a nice little extra guest for us this evening. And we'll put that here for now. Finally, the stone, you may place that in the center of your parchment now with your candles lit on the two corners. Now, stare at the candles, stare at the stone. Focus your energy and concentration on these objects. Basically, focus on the pendulum board in front of you. Take in this imagery, the flickering lights, the dark stone, the contrasting parchment beneath it. Focus on the words I'm about to speak. Focus on the board with your eyes and focus on my voice. Everyone, please take a deep breath. Inhale. Let it out. Exhale. Focus and concentrate on my voice. Focus on the board, the stone, the candles in front of you. Another deep breath. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. In with the good air. Out with the bad air. Slow your breathing down. Allow your heart to beat slower. Your breath to be slower. This will increase your ability to concentrate and focus. Focus and concentrate on the sound of my voice. Focus and concentrate with your eyes on the board in front of you. Take another deep breath. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. We're going to try to attain a state of mind. Notice the theta state. Cycles of seconds of brainwave activity in which your conscious mind and subconscious mind are attuned. This is that place in your mind in which you're, well, just before you go to sleep, actually, or just when you wake up, when you're most creative and imaginative. Some parapsychologists and researchers, spiritualists, and those who are knowledgeable of the esoteric believe that those who achieve the theta state are most in contact with the spiritual. They're able to connect with the other side or with psychic fields more easily when you achieve this state of mind. So I want you to focus on my voice and focus on the board and candles in front of you. It helps if your room is cast in darkness. That way you're not distracted by other objects around you. Turn off your lights if they're not off already. If you cannot do that, that's fine. But it'll allow for deeper concentration and focus if you're able to. Now, everyone, please close your eyes and listen to my voice. You may see a flickering redness in your eyes as the candles flicker in front of you just on the outside of your eyelids. But close your eyes and listen to my voice. And please focus and concentrate as we try to achieve the state of mind where we're most in contact with the psychic, the energies that permeate around us, both earthly and cosmic. I want to start counting backwards from 10. With every number I count backwards from, you're going to become twice as relaxed as the number before it. We're trying to achieve relaxation, but also concentration, tranquility, but also focus. Counting backwards from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Just relax. Feel the waves of relaxation spread throughout your body. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to fall into a state of tranquility and peace. By allowing ourselves to go into this peaceful state of mind, we open ourselves to positive energy and spirit. Take a deep breath and hold it. Let it out. And now open your eyes. You're all doing a wonderful job. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you, everyone, for coming here this evening. Now to begin again. I call upon the spirit of Edgar Allan Poe. Within our circle you shall be contained, until the breaking of the circle, at which point you shall return in peace and without harm or disturbance to others. I believe everyone is doing a wonderful job. We are now connected through the veil, if you will. Once again, time and space, distance matters not. I want everyone to focus on the stone in front of them. Focus and concentrate on this black stone, this smooth stone in the center of your board. The candle should be at both corners. Focus and concentrate on the stone. Listen to the sound of my voice. We're going to focus all the negative energy that may still be left over after our ceremony into this stone. We're going to focus any negativity in our lives, in our mind, and in our heart into the stone. I want you to focus and concentrate. I would like you to have tunnel vision, blinders, if you will, so that all you see is the stone. I want you to focus and concentrate on this stone. I want you to focus in the back of your mind, all the negativity in your life. Don't focus on anything singularly. Focus on the abstract concept of negativity. So I don't want you to be distracted or saddened by things that are going on in the world, or in your personal life, or around you. Just focus on these things in a vague sort of way and focus them into the stone. Move this energy from your mind into the stone. Take a deep breath and hold it. And exhale into the stone. And with your breath goes the negative energy. All the negativity in your life and around you. Thoughts of sadness and depression. thoughts of difficulty, thoughts of anger, leaving you and going into the stone. Focus your eyes on the stone. You may feel a vibration around you. You may feel a lightness about yourself. Focus now onto the stone. It may help to place your hands in front of you, to have them focus your energy and target the stone. Feel the energy leaving your body. Perhaps it is starting on the back of your head. Imagine this, if you will. Like all the negative energy in the back of your head permeating around you like a glow of red light, ebbing and flowing down your limbs, your shoulders, your arms, into your hands and fingertips, coming up from your feet, your legs, and your belly, your chest, your shoulders, and once again, through your arms, your elbows, your hands, into your fingertips, and into the stone, away from you. You're focusing all this negativity into the rock, into the stone, into the inky blackness of this stone. Focus and concentrate. Concentrate and focus. Take some deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Relax. Some of you may already be experiencing this energy passing into the stone. You may see a reaction in front of you. If you're starting to see something, you're starting experiencing, please nod your head. Even if you don't know exactly what it is, just nod your head. I'm looking right now. Some of you are nodding your heads now. Concentrate and focus. The stone, for some of you, you will have different reactions, but the stone may appear to vibrate, to breathe with you. Take deep, soft breaths, slow breaths, and stare at the stone. Focus on it. As the energy passes from you into the stone, you will see this occur. Perhaps it is a vibration. Perhaps it is a breathing sensation. The stone itself may appear to slightly inflate and deflate with you. Some of you may also see a haze appear over it. This is a common phenomenon in this ceremony. If you're experiencing any of these things, please nod your head. Is there anyone experiencing any other phenomena that I did not mention? If you are, raise your hand, please. Lisa, can you unmute yourself, please? What are you experiencing?
I have 5 orbs around me.
Can everyone hear Lisa? Lisa, we can't hear you. Your microphone may be off, even though you're unmuted. No. Lisa, can you chat in the chat room since we can't hear what you're saying? While we're waiting for Lisa to finish her message here, is there anyone else who's experiencing something? Raise your hand if you'd like to talk about it. Zeke?
My stone actually looks like it's actually flattened out, like almost like it was. I don't know how to describe it. It just looks like it's absorbed down into my pendulum board.
Can everyone hear Zeke? Good, good. Zeke, can you repeat that, please? You're mute. No, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Is that good?
Yes.
My stone actually looks like it absorbed into my pendulum board. It almost seems like it's wider, like it's gotten flatter. Like it seemed more rounded, and now it just seems like it is like flattened out.
Thank you. Now, Lisa, I'm going to try to unmute you again. Can you try talking again?
Can you hear me now?
Barely. You are coming in just very barely audible. But I will read what you said. All right. So I have 5 orbs that appeared around me. I do not know if they are uncrossed souls or souls that have come back through the veil that separates the living from the dead. Is that what you wrote? Yes. Okay. All right. So Lisa, thank you for sharing that with us. Are you still experiencing some phenomena now?
I am surrounded by orbs, people.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing that. Melissa, did you experience anything?
Uh,
Oh, you
not yet.
not yet. Okay, thank you. Stephanie, could you share your experience?
I just had like the stone breathing with me and like looking like a heart beating while I was breathing out towards it.
Thank you. Stefano, did you experience anything?
Yes, I did. I saw the stone that went smaller in front of me. As I inhaled, the stone was still, and when I exhaled, the stone gets smaller.
All right. Let's move on to the next segment of our experiment. I think everyone did a fantastic job. Some of you may be experiencing things a little further in. If you feel like you want to share something with us, if you had a experience, please send me a message in the chat and I will share that with the rest of the group, and I might unmute you to share that with the group. Please bring your pendulums out now and put it off to the side for the moment. And we'll begin very shortly. Now, I want everyone to place your hands over the stone, like so. We have pushed our negative energy from our bodies and into the stone. This stone now is a scapegoat, but we cannot allow it to be here and with us because it may taint our seance for this evening. So what we had to do is we had to transfer this negative energy, dissipated, into the cosmos and away from us. Place your hands over the stone like so. I want you to focus your thoughts and energy into positive thoughts and positive energy, and aim those positive thoughts and energy at that stone. Focus on what is positive in your life, your friends, your family, the positive ones, that is. Focus your thoughts on these thoughts, on the positive people in your life, the good things that have happened to you recently. Focus on optimism and joy. Focus and concentrate and focus on the positive aspects of your life. Take a deep breath. Now exhale. As you breathe in and out, the positive energy in your body, the positive thoughts, your friends, and those in your past who have gone on are also lending to you their positive energy. Some of you may believe that you have spirit guides or assistance from higher planes of reality. Perhaps they are supporting you now as well, loaning you their positive energy, their hands on your shoulders. They push the negativity out of the stone and into the ether, into the cosmos, and away. The energy dissipates and leaves the stone, cleansing it, clearing it, and charging it with positive energy. You have pushed the negativity out of the stone and replaced it with positive energy. You have charged the stone with positive thoughts, positive energy, basically positivity. And you can keep this from now on and have it with you always. And it will be a positive source of relaxation, a positive source to have near you and close to you. And remember, everything we're doing tonight is something you can use yourself in your own experiments with your own friends and family. There's nothing harmful or dangerous about what we're doing this evening. As we try to contact the spirit of Edgar Allan Poe tonight. Now, I call upon, once again, the spirit of Edgar Allan Poe. Mr. Poe, if you're here with us this evening, please come forth. We invite you into our circle, our modern virtual circle. This concept may seem alien to you or hard to understand, but Mr. Edgar Allan Poe, we know you to be an intelligent man. We know that you're wise. We also know that you have suffered. But we invite you into a positive environment and a positive circle. We ask you to come forth into our circle this evening and experience this moment with us. Mr. Poe, if you're here with us tonight, please come forth. Perhaps you'll visit your former home in Baltimore, the Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum. Perhaps you'll make your presence known there. It is nighttime in Baltimore. However, the lights are on. I'm sure you have many fond memories there. Maybe some are not so fond. But we ask you to visit us fondly. Perhaps in your current state, where once again time and space matters not, you may wish to travel to Italy and visit my friend Stefano this evening and make his presence known to him. Perhaps you'll visit Mr. Zeke Powers at his abode and make your presence known to Zeke tonight. Perhaps through the veil, you'll visit Miss Stephanie Bowles this evening and make yourself known to her through some interaction or feeling, a touch perhaps, or a cool breath. Perhaps Melissa may also experience a sensation this evening. So far, she has not. Can you change this for her? I know Melissa would like to have an experience tonight of a paranormal nature. Melissa, have you ever experienced anything paranormal before? You don't have to unmute yourself. Just nod your head if you have. Yes, okay. I thought so. I had a feeling about you. I could tell by the hat. Perhaps Lisa will have an experience tonight. Well, she already has, actually. Perhaps she'll have more. Will Wendy have an experience this evening? Will she feel the presence of Edgar Allan Poe, the author and writer, the poet, the troubled historic figure? Perhaps. Maybe Angela will have an experience. Angela, have you already experienced something? You have? Would you like to talk about it? No? Perhaps some of our individuals who are not on camera right now, I'm sure you have your reasons, would like to share with me in the chat room any experiences you may have. If you wish, I will keep you anonymous. Feel free to chat in the room. Send me a direct message. And if you would like to remain in anonymity, I will not mention your name. I want everyone to place their hands on the tabletop in front of them. Close your eyes with me for a moment. And I want you to focus on Edgar Allan Poe. You all know what he looks like. That large cranium of his, that little mustache he has, the narrow chin. Focus on the image of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe as I try to bring you back to October 1849. Edgar Allan Poe was only 40 years old. He was on an expedition to Richmond and around the Eastern Shore, the Northeast United States, in order to collect money for a magazine he wished to publish known as The Stylus. He believed in his heart that he was finally about to achieve success. Imagine this in your mind. Mr. Poe on a train moving about the northeastern United States. He had raised over $5,000, an enormous amount of money for that time period in history. And at some point, no one knows exactly when or how. His arrival in Baltimore, he disappeared. He was found disheveled and in someone else's clothes in a voting hall. Very relevant for this time right now, right? Slumped in a chair inside the hall, contrary to popular belief, not in the gutter. Found in the chair by his friend, Dr. Snodgrass. He was brought to Church Home Hospital, where he died a few days later and very quickly buried. How did he die? What allowed this to happen? Close your eyes and focus. Concentrate and focus on Edgar Allan Poe. Focus and concentrate. Allow yourself to connect to our circle more deeply and more strongly. Remember, time and space matters not. Focus on your mind on the image of Edgar Allan Poe. Concentrate. Feel the positive energy flowing into you. Now open your eyes and focus on the screen in front of you. If you are uncomfortable with the idea of Edgar Allan Poe visiting you at your home, and I know some of you have already had spiritual communication at your own place. Some of you have had contact with spirits before and have experienced the paranormal firsthand. Melissa, Lisa, Angela, Wendy, Stefano, and Zeke. You have all had spiritual experiences, have you not? If you are uncomfortable with the idea of Mr. Poe visiting you tonight, then focus your thoughts on me. Look closely at your screen and concentrate. Allow Edgar Allan Poe to come forth at my location. Stare deeply into the screen in front of you. Focus on my eyes, on my face, on my location, on my place. Concentrate. Think of Mr. Edgar Allan Poe. Concentrate. Make sure your screen is set for speaker mode on Zoom. Concentrate and focus. Think of Mr. Poe. Visualize and experience. We're using a wavelength of light that increases the theta state. Breathe deeply now. Inhale and exhale. Let the energy flow into you. Positive, energy. If you wish to have an experience, you will have an experience. Focus on Edgar Allan Poe. Or perhaps, if you feel a deeper connection with Virginia Clem Poe, his beloved wife, the inspiration for Annabel Lee, then think of her and focus your thoughts. Concentrate. I want you to breathe in and out slowly and deliberately. Concentrate and focus. We're going to take a moment of silence. I want you to focus on the setting in front of you. Keep your eyes focused on the screen. I want to start counting backwards from 10, which will increase your state of relaxation, your ability to focus and be calm. With every number I count backwards from, you'll become 10 times more relaxed, 10 times more in tune, 10 times more focused. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, breathe deeply. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Concentrate. Concentrate and focus. Focus and concentrate. Breathe in and out. If you experience anything, please keep that thought in your mind for now so we can address it later. In a moment, I'm going to remain absolutely silent. I want you to focus on Edgar Allan Poe. Focus on me or the photo next to me. Concentrate. I'm going to remain silent, and I want you to keep your thoughts on Poe or Virginia Clem Poe while focusing on the screen in front of you. Starting in 3, 2, 1, begin. Do not divert your eyes. Focus. nod your head if you've experienced anything, please. Stefano, can you tell us what's happening?
Sure. I was focusing on the picture behind you, and it was really hard to keep the attention on the picture. It looks like the picture did like this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to raise your hand if you would like to tell us what you experienced? Zeke, did you experience anything?
Yeah, wow, I felt like a total shift in energy, and I got real lightheaded for a moment. I was a little concerned. I wasn't sure if it was the spirit passing through me or around me, or just using up what energy I had. I'm fine now, but there was a moment there that I was, drained.
There's someone. Thank you, Zeke. Wow. I'm getting some comments in the I'm getting some messages in the comment section. That there's something going on at the Poe house. Now, I want to put emphasis on this. I want to spotlight the Poe house picture right now, the feed. Wendy, would you mind chiming in and telling us what you saw? I can't hear. I'm sorry. I can't hear you for some reason.
How about now?
Oh, perfect.
Technology is not my friend. I'm sorry. That doorway that's open with the stairs that go up. I've never been in the Poe house, so I don't know where that goes.
It goes to his room, his private quarters.
I've seen a shadow there twice. Just fleeting. So I don't know what that means. And previously, not to spook Lisa at all, but when I assume Lisa was speaking to spirits is what I think I saw, and I saw shadows behind her as well. I don't feel like they were malicious shadows, but there's definitely somebody hanging out with Lisa tonight.
There is no one at the Poe house. No one is allowed to be there after hours without special permission. There's 0 people there at this living people, I should emphasize. There's no one at the Poe House Museum, and at this moment, it's only the video feed we're experiencing right now, and that's it. I also noticed a couple of times there was a little bounce on the microphone from there, and I don't know if that's outdoor sounds. It's but there's a separate microphone feed coming in for the Poe House and Museum right now, and for the most part it's been absolutely silent there, but there was a couple of noises. I don't know if anyone else heard any sort of rustling or anything like that. I didn't hear anything myself. I was kind of busy concentrating, but I thought that was very interesting.
Vince, can you unmute the Poe House?
I cannot unmute the camera mic. There is a separate mic that's being fed in through the OBS right now. There's feedback reasons. I can't have them both running at the same time.
Got it.
Yeah, but there is a separate microphone that's being fed through OBS, and you can hear it if anything happens. But so far, I've heard. I wish I could give a visual of it, but I've heard some rustling here and there. And
I did too. I just thought it was something you were doing. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So it appears that perhaps, and to answer a question in a private message, I think there is those candles on the mantle are electric LED candles. And I believe they're battery operated. I'm not 100% sure about that. I was in there. I set the camera up yesterday. The director of the Poe House, Rika Zhang, activated the Zoom feed before she left at approximately 4 p.m. this afternoon. I did a live feed a little bit on Facebook, and now this is feeding directly to YouTube for right now. Very interesting. Let's see, what else are people saying? There's a few private messages in here. Someone says there is someone behind me. I want to emphasize as well that I am myself alone, except for a kitty cat who is sleeping somewhere else. Let's see. The tablecloth under the photo of Poe behind you was moving rapidly. Did anyone else see this? A few people saw that. Let's see. A couple of people said he saw a face behind me. All right. That's a little disconcerting. All right, let's see. Let's try this. Would you like to continue with the focus experiment? Nod your head if you'd like to keep that going a little bit. Okay, a few people are nodding their head. All right, so what we're going to do is the purpose for this, the red color you see in front of you, is that there is a type of seance that allows for a, this is a experiment I want to try tonight. It's allows for a increased state of mind in the theta state, and a red colorization, a certain kind of wavelength of light, it helps increase that, allowing for the connection to the energy permeating the environment, the psychic field, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, or the spiritual plane is a popular concept in parapsychological literature and spiritual literature. So I'd like everyone to focus again. So I will try to do my best to remain still. Focus either on myself or the photograph of Edgar Allan Poe. And I want you to think of, let's see if I can bring up for you a picture of Virginia Clem Poe. I should have had this prepared, huh? Did someone with a more easy access to a keyboard, if you'd like, please post in the comment section a image of Virginia Clem Poe from Google Images, and I will do a screen share to bring it up for us. In the meantime, everyone else who's not focused on typing, please concentrate on the screen in front of you, either on myself or on the photograph of Poe. Thank you, Wendy. As you can see, Virginia was quite lovely. I believe this is the photograph that Zeke used for his Annabelle Lee photograph. She's also a very popular focus point for seances involving Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. I want everyone to focus on me or the photograph. Now that you have an image of Virginia in your mind, you may think of Virginia or you may think of Edgar. Maintain concentration, everyone. Focus. Do not divert your eyes. Concentrate. Be still. Relax. Focus your attention and concentrate. Focus your attention at the center of the screen. Be alert and attentive to any sensations or feelings around you. A chill, a brush, a feeling, a sensation, a movement of the hair on the back of your neck, a change in temperature ever so slightly. It's not always cooler, sometimes it's warmer. A noise in the background. anything at all. Okay. If anyone had any, I did see that jump earlier. Someone apparently was startled at their residence. Now it is time to move on with the experiment involving the pendulum. So everyone, please bring your pendulums out. I think we've gotten to the point in which we have gained enough positive energy to continue with the next part of our seance this evening. Everyone, please take your pendulum. Be mindful of the candles. Around you. Place it over the stone, which is now charged with positive energy. Hold the pendulum in such a way that you're grasping the very top of it, the end of the chain or string or thread. So there's only a little bit hanging off or none at all. You want it over about an inch or so, 3 or 4 centimeters over the top of the stone for Stefano. Everyone, focus in your mind on the person you have chosen to contact this evening. Was it Edgar? Was it Virginia? I'm actually having trouble keeping mine still, to be honest with you. Edgar or Virginia, if you're here with some of us this evening, make your presence known to us. Move our pendulums left and right. Left and right. Move the pendulum left and right. Left and right. If you're here with us tonight, move the pendulum left and right over the stones. Left and right. Nod your head if your pendulum is moving, please. If the spirit of either Edgar or Virginia is with us tonight, move the pendulum around in a circle. Around in a circle. Around in a circle. Move the pendulum around in a circle. Around in a circle. Whichever spirit was with me this evening, I think has moved to someone else. Nod your head if you feel like you've experienced just some more activity just now. Move the pendulum back and forth. Back and forth. Our volunteers have allowed themselves to channel positive energy through them and through the pendulum. We invite the spirit of Edgar Allan Poe or Virginia Clem Poe to make their presence known to us and through us, and peace without harm. Put the pendulums down. Raise your hand if you had an experience with your pendulum. Stefano, can you tell us about it?
Yes, I have experienced exactly everything. The pendulum moved exactly as you asked. So,
And were you trying to
circle,
keep your
then
hand as
back
still
and
as you
forward.
could?
Everything.
Were you trying to keep your pendulum as still as you could?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leah, did you experience anything?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
You can?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
So when we tried to get Edgar, it did not move at all. But for Virginia, I was holding the pendulum still and it did the circles and the back and forth, just as you said.
How many people do you have with you tonight?
It is me and two of my friends.
Very interesting.
The three of us.
All right. Wendy, did you experience anything with your pendulum?
I couldn't find the unmute. It moved as you said, but it was really weak. I was surprised. I kept kind of hearing something off to this side of me, but I was trying to focus on the pendulum and I don't know what that was.
Interesting. Maybe you had a conflict of spirits.
Like, pay attention to me, darn it. No, I'm penduluming. No.
Penduluming is now a word. Melissa, did you experience anything?
Not exactly, but I don't think I'm as focused as I could be.
No problem. Sometimes it's just fun to observe. Angela, how about yourself?
It's very cold in here, but that's about it so far.
Yes. Did you do the pendulum experiment? Did you have any experience with that?
Unfortunately, I had to step away for a moment.
No worries. And Stephanie, did you experience anything?
Yes. So earlier when we were focusing and you said a chill, I felt a chill come from the right side and like go down the right side of my body. But then during the pendulum, like it did everything that you asked. And it was very strong. So.
Let's see, who else can we ask a question to? Mary Beth? Did you experience anything you feel comfortable sharing about?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, yes.
I'm actually a professional medium, so I've channeled Poe in the past, but tonight I used my pendulum and you were talking about some of the other characters in his life. My pendulum spelled out Muddy. Muddy's here.
Muddy, interesting.
Muddy, yes, his mother-in-law, Aunt Muddy.
Fantastic. Yeah, I thank you for pointing that out, by the way.
You're welcome.
It's a little bit of rarely known, seldomly known piece of Poe trivia.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Wanted to talk about her cooking. She pushed him aside and she wanted to talk about the cooking. And I tried to keep going with her spelling out just to do it a different way than I typically do. And she just started to spell out a couple of things about her dandelion stew, but then we shifted to another subject, so I stopped. I cut her off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary Beth, for sharing that with us.
You're so welcome.
Did you notice any temperature changes besides the little bit of chill?
I actually got a lot hotter and started sweating and vibrating. And I so wanted him to be coming through, but I asked, I wasn't, I was focused, but then she started spelling out her name and I thought it was so funny that I just, let her go with it.
So I got an anonymous message in the chat room directed at me. If you feel like you want to share this, feel free to speak up, but otherwise I will not mention it. But someone mentioned that they saw a face over my face when the light was red earlier. Did anyone else see anything like this? Stefano, did you? No, you did not? Okay.
I just asked, can you hear me? I just asked who it was and I got spelling Gris. Griswold went to the side of your left side of your face, superimposed.
Well,
Like
my my middle candle just went out by itself, and it was actually the newest one. That I lit only a few moments ago. The other two are from the very beginning of the seance, and they're still lit. That's interesting. I promise I did not blow on it either. Wow. A lot of interesting activity. So one other person said they saw Virginia Klempo's face over the photograph. Interesting. All right. Does anyone else in the... So we have a few people. We have Susan and Steve. We have a few, Jill and a few other people in the who have their video off. Jessica, feel free to speak up if you, or Aaron, if you had any experiences that you want to talk about. If you don't want to share it out loud, feel free to send me a message in the chat or unmute yourselves. You don't have to show your video, but if you want to comment, I'd love that. No takers. That's fine. All right, so let's see. I'm going to bring up Virginia again. I want everyone to focus on her. Concentrate on her for just a moment. Okay, while we were focused on Virginia, did anyone else feel anything at all? Any sort of sensation, any sort of connection? All right, fantastic. Everyone, I would call this a very successful virtual seance this evening. You're all absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for contributing to our seance tonight. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Stephanie, Stefano. It was good seeing you again. Melissa, Lisa, Wendy, thank you. Leah and Angela, Aaron, Susan, Jill, Steve, and Jessica, thank you for coming here tonight. And that's about it for our seance this evening. I hope that some of you will contact me later with any experiences you may not have felt comfortable talking about. Now, if I might have your attention, please. I have some gifts for some of the people that have participated tonight. The Poe House was very generous, and they gave us some giveaways for this evening. Oh, Aaron, as soon as I said gifts, he just starts appearing right in front of on the camera. What's up with that, Aaron? Aaron, by the way, contributed this is Rabbi Aaron, who contributed to our scapegoat information. So everyone wave hi to him and say thank you for the contribution. That was awesome of Rabbi Aaron. Thank you so much. We have some giveaways for our participants this evening, some of you. So what shall we give away and who should we give it to? Well, these giveaways are for those who participated tonight and had experiences, okay? I didn't want to say that at the beginning because I didn't want to encourage people to have giveaway experiences, which I guess is a thing. All right, so let's see what we got tonight. Let's see. So for first of all, for Mary Beth, I have the a post-death weekend official morning handkerchief and prayer card. Okay, I want to have to open this up. Do you want me to open it up or to see it, or you want to wait till you get it?
Oh, if you'd like to open it, let everybody see what they're missing. Thank
That's
you.
right.
Yay, free stuff.
So you'll have to send me your mailing address at info@posemagic.com. But here's what everyone's missing. They get this prayer card here.
Okay.
All right, with information on the back, and this black handkerchief, which has a Edgar Allan, very subtle Poe Museum logo right here in the corner.
Like the Shroud of Turin, right?
That's right. Yes, they actually put Poe's face,
good
skull, right inside the handkerchief. That's right. It became burned forever. Stefano, you know all about that, right? The Shroud of Turin. Stefano lives in Turin, Italy, so he's literally down the street from that. Yeah. He's been banned from the Basilica for blowing his nose on it. I heard it was very disgraceful.
Better not be on mine.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
All right, so moving on. What else I got in my goodie bag for someone tonight? So I have this Yay Baltimore sort of thing here. I think I'll combine that with something else because this is fine by itself. Yay Baltimore! That's right. It's my hometown of Baltimore City. All right. So it also includes a Edgar Allan Poe House and Museum, purple refrigerator and magnet. That's right. Okay, so this is going to go to Wendy. She's going to get a Yay Baltimore and Poe magnet. All right. So that goes off to the side. Okay, so I don't lose it. All right. Oh, what else do I have? All right. So that's most everything. I have one more thing, and that goes to I have a bookmark and a special pendulum, which I don't have in front of me. It's an Edgar Allan Poe pendulum, and the bookmark and pendulum, which I guess slipped out of my bag here, but I do have it. That's going to go to Lisa. Lisa, you get a custom Edgar Allan Poe House Museum pendulum and a bookmark go tonight. So I had a friend do some little, posting and that sort of thing for me. A friend of Poe's Magic, Stephanie Bowles, was helping out. Also she had some experiences too. So she's going to get the Poe Festival T-shirt from the Poe House and Museum. So it's for tonight. I do have more T-shirts that are being sent to me, so I'll have that for a future seance. And tonight, I would like to talk about our next seance. And this is a touchy subject, so we're going to have to handle it carefully. Everyone, please pay attention. So this is a little darker, but strangely enough, a little bit more fun, because I'm not going to do a lot. It's going to have a little bit of real seance, but a little bit of entertainment mixed into it, because the subject is so dark and horrible that some levity, I think, needs to be incorporated into it just to tone it down a little bit. Does that make sense? All right. Let me open up with first saying that, yes, it is a Jack the Ripper seance. No, it is not focusing on Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was a jerk and doesn't deserve focus and concentration and attention, okay? The focus of Jack the Ripper seance will be on his victims, the poor victims who suffered tremendously even before they were murdered at the hands of this notorious D-bag, pardon my language, Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was not a sophisticated individual in a top hat with a cane and a cloak. He wasn't being driven around in a carriage. He was a monster who does not deserve any sort of romanticized ideas of who he was. He was a villain, and not the cool kind of villain either, just a bad one. So the next seance will be the Jack the Ripper seance, because otherwise, unfortunately, due to the popularity of the topic, that's how people will find it and know about it. But the focus will be on the victims, in particular, Mary Jane Kelly. So do a little research on that, if you will, before the next one, which I'll have up and promoted soon. In the meantime, everyone, thank you so much for being amazing tonight. All right. Before we go, of course, I'm going to open up to questions. Must be the COVIDs. Anyway, open up the questions from everyone. Please feel free to open your mics and, well, actually, so we don't have everyone talking over each other. If you'd like to ask a question about seances or the paranormal or supernatural or anything about what we discussed tonight, or further information about Edgar Allan Poe, feel free to do so now. Raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question or inquire about anything. Anyone? If you're raising your hand, Angela, I can't see you because you're cast in shadow and darkness. That goes for you too, Mary Beth. If you ask a question, I can't see you. Anyone else want to ask a question, or are you just kind of good? I've learned so much, I can't possibly know anymore. My brain chalice, is otherwise known as my skull, is filled to the brim with information and overflowing now. Any more would cause an aneurysm, I'm sure. Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, Mary Beth, did you have a question? I saw you were briefly unmuted there for a second. I apologize.
Can I just throw something out there? I don't want to, step on what you've done. Your presentation was just fabulous. Remember when all the energy started to drop?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So at that juncture, when it all started to drop, he kept yelling in my ear that we should sing one of his favorite songs. And he wanted us to sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And that would have brought the energy back up and allowed us to keep the energy going. So just maybe for next time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, just if you get an experience like that, feel free to chat me up in the chat room.
Okay.
And I can incorporate that into it. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mary Beth, for incorporating that.
Yeah, that is, in fact, Row, Row, Row Your Boat is a very spiritual song, and it also uplifts all of the energy, and it just sort of re-energizes or refuels the whole, what was going on. So you noticed when it dropped so much, he kept yelling, "Sing my song, sing my song."
Ah,
And we don't have to be good singers, you just sing and it just brings the energy up.
Aaron Sherman is a fantastic singer, and we should have him to sing next time.
No. The whole point is that.
Oh, I know. I was
I know.
I was poking.
and
I was a little bit of levity there. I apologize.
Okay, too little. But anyway, yes, right. Thank you for letting me throw that in.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. Yeah, I kind of get I go into a lighter mood at the end of the evening. Yeah. Thank you, Mary Beth. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for listening.
No problem. Anytime. All right, everyone. I think that's it for this evening. I appreciate everyone being here tonight. All right, Stefano, what time is it there right now?
It's 3:30 in the morning. It's better for me to go.
Yes. All right. So everyone, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Wave goodbye, everyone. And one more thing. The circle is now closed. Edgar Allan Poe, Virginia Clem, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And any friends of our spirit friends tonight, if you joined us as well, please depart to whence you came at the closing of this circle in peace and without harm. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you.